You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, gore, body horror, complex relationships, grief, trauma, death of loved ones, and divine cannibalism. Arc 2, Episode 30. Don't Leave Me Behind. From Carved Inside an Empty Urn by Connie Chong. Lumièra, please roll me a d20.
You could have told me before we came back to this, Connie, that I was going to need a d20, but that's totally fine. No worries.
Not at all an
whatsoever.
Ominous thing either.
Yeah, no ominousness
Just
at all.
pulling random die types at us.
Right. 18.
Understood. Thank you. Lumièra, one day, in a future that has already happened, you will weave a liminal with the same perfect precision and unmatched power as the one that explodes out of you right now. The Drifter's glitching hand holds your own and then passes through it, and when it makes contact with you, it is a spark of radiant shadow dancing over the surface of a Titan's brain. Your synapses ignite, your white eyes flare with light, and then you see it. Life. The life of every single living thing around you lit up like firecrackers during the spring festival. Xiao Cheng's life force is orange, so orange that it hurts, the color eclipsing the power of the sun itself. Xuejiang's life force is white as snow, as white as the mist itself, as white as the pelt of a tiger stalking through a winter forest. Naeem's is gray, no, silver, like the ring of light around an eclipse. Yinghe's is black, pure shadow, darkness, void. Seir's life force is blue. An incandescent, brilliant blue, like a cerulean flame etched through with threads of black. Xainan, what is the color of your soul?
Verdant green.
That's what you see, Lumièra. When your eyes pass over Xainan, Esh, green. Green like spring, green like a world that has not yet known calamity. And you see your own soul too, Lumièra. Gold. Pure. Dazzling. Royal. Gold. But it's not just the people around you who brim with life force. You see it in the grass of the courtyard, a bright, shining emerald. You see it in the trunks of the fruit trees, a deep, rich mahogany brown. You see it in the timber pillars holding up the buildings. You see it in the weathered gray stones that make up the flooring. You even see it in the very air itself. Molecules of water, particles of pollen, dust, the very mist itself. These plants, these inorganic substances and materials, they don't have the same incredibly complex and brilliant soul force that the people do, but the life they hold is still there. It's still undeniable. No, not just life. Time. The time that every single person, every object, every single atom has left in the journey before they are taken by oblivion. This is the time you can pull on to empower your chronomancy. This is how you can offload the cost away from you. The Drifter's glitching fingers still cover your own, and you hear their voice in your ear, superimposed over reality. You see it don't you? The life. The time.
Lumièra, I think, drops to one knee for a moment and runs her fingers across the grass, feeling that energy, that life force. Before she takes a look down at her left arm, most of it gilded, and then looks back up at infinite resources. Less of me and more of it.
That's right. All you have to do is focus your attention on the life force that you want to tithe to time. You have been tithing your own for too long. How many years have you given already? What was it again? 26?
The more I've been here, the more I realize that this calling, the one I swore myself to, the one that fate gave me, told me. I've always wondered why it was so difficult to master, why it was so hard to grasp. It's because it was never my true calling, was it?
No, that it wasn't. But you've gone through many stumbling blocks trying to master it, and you will go through many more. This stream, I can't sustain it. Just maybe the rest of what you've tithed hasn't happened yet.
The
Maybe
book
it's
said
already
we're not
happened.
supposed to vault. Show me how you do it.
There is a pause, a glitch. And then the drifter says, the secret to that is the choice is yours.
Stop!
If you decide to
No!
inflict this on another living being, your soul forever. Even if they are your enemy. Goodbye, Lumièra. The price will rest. And the drifter vanishes.
And I think Lumièra actually punches into the soil, just fucking furious.
And as your fury resonates outward, in this moment, Lumièra, you weave a perfect liminal. All the conditions are in your favor. The drifter is here, or has been here, has guided your hand. The mist has been freed, its power has been flowing through you, a thunderbolt of clarity has just struck you, and perhaps one day in a future that has already happened, there will be a time, there will be many times when you struggle to do this again, to offload the cost with the same perfection that you do now. But that doesn't matter right now. Not to these agents, not to this story. Because in this moment, Lumièra, your control is absolute. So where do you pull the cost for your liminal?
Lumièra pulls her cost from the Forge Master.
Okay. Okay. Done. And Lumièra, of course, because you did roll a miss. That 16 you rolled earlier has been added to the tally of the years that you've tithed away, making it for 26 total. And now, as time resumes for you and everyone else, this liminal that has been summoned, that was shattered between you and Xuejiang, now expands, it pushes outward, forms a balloon, a dome around the entire Plum Leaf courtyard, trapping you and Xainan, Xuejiang, Xiaocheng, and Seir inside of it. The only people who are not stuck inside this liminal are down in the courtyard, Yinghe, and up on another roof, Naim. as the liminal comes down, we see them suddenly come to a halt as they were trying to approach the roof that all of you are on, and then they slow down. And we see blossoms that flutter out of the liminal also slow down on the breeze. And now it's like you've fixed yourself basically into a cage match with just Xuejiang and Strike Team Nova and the virtue of the Emperor. Xuejiang lowers her weapons, staggers away from where that liminal had ballooned outward and pushed her back. What is this? She looks up around her, lifts the axe and taps it against the dome against her head, and it springs back with an intense force. You feel it ribboning against your soul, Lumièra, but it doesn't hurt you. In fact, Xuejiang lets out a ugh when she taps her own axe against it because the source of the power is her. You are siphoning her, Lumièra. You feel it. She feels the connection too. She staggers again, and then we see thin wisps of her soul force, visible only to you, Lumièra, and her, eking out from the center of her body and pouring up like a battery source. What? How did you?
Your downfall. And Lumièra's eyes were closed at this, but once she says downfall, she opens them and her eyes are glowing bright gold, just like the liminal that she has them locked in.
Kneel. Never. If it's a final stand you want, it's a final stand I'll give you. And at this point, it doesn't even matter if I kill all of you or if you all kill me. All that matters is I'll stain your hands with my blood, and you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are no better than me. Because I'm not the one that's stuck here with you. You are the one stuck here with me.
And she bangs the shafts of her weapons together, and they glow bright, a bright, bright, bright white, and they melt against each other to form a polearm, a long polearm that she holds with both hands. And the very top of the polearm turns into the massive head of a halberd, a perfect combination of an axe and a hammer, a heavy Z, and it comes down with the force of how heavy it is down onto her left hand, but she still holds it because she is the one who has made it. And now it's time to get back into the fight. We actually push across the tiles to find Seir. The word downfall triggers this for you. As it comes out of Lumièra's mouth, you heed Doom's words, your eyes fix on Xuejiang's eyes, and you see it. You see what Doom has been trying to show you. You see what Lumièra has intuitively picked up on. Xuejiang's downfall. Xuejiang's doom. The thing that will be her undoing, her weakness, her greatest flaw. The only thing that could fell her, truly fell her. And it balloons behind her like a silhouette. It balloons behind her like a halo, like a parhelion of light, and you see the outline of Lu Hua, the Forge Master's apprentice. The only thing that could convince Xuejiang to stray from this path of violence and destruction. And now, which of you acts first?
I guess I will.
Okay.
Seir sees this, and there's a moment where he was about to fling violence at Xuejiang, and patience actually anchors him backward as he sees the flash of doom inside of it. And he tries, and he sees this vision, this omen, this downfall. What is this? What am I seeing?
You know what you're seeing, boy. You've felt it inside your heart this entire time. You've called it omen. You've called it prophecy. Now you know its name. Now you know our name. Doom.
Maybe Maybe she's more wrong than right. Maybe there's hope for her. Maybe she can stop this path, this monstrosity, this violence. Maybe she can turn away, turn differently.
Do you want them to be better? Or do you need Ta to be better?
Does it matter?
Of course it does. It is the difference between choice and fate. For she is right, and you know it deep within you, boy, she is right. But she is also wrong. The voices have infinite sound. She wants them to have one.
Then maybe I show her what she's been missing this whole time. And I will search, like, this moment is encapsulated within Seir's mind's eye, standing across from this deer-headed entity. And he surges out of that vision, out of that omen. I would like to try and pin down Xuejiang.
Ooh. Just like hold her down, like
Yeah.
immobilize her and like trap her? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be connect.
Okay. For connect, oh goodness.
When you connect with someone, you have to reveal something intimate to them and roll 2d6 plus tags because you're literally, I'm adjudicating this as you're literally physically connecting with her, like holding her, holding
Okay, so
her
I don't have to
down.
say anything?
Right. No, you do. That's
Okay.
not what I said. you
Okay,
do, you do,
okay.
you do have to reveal something
Okay.
intimate. Right, but, yep. Okay. So, what is that intimate thing? Yeah.
And you let me know if this is enough. Seir leaps onto Xuejiang and is trying to wrestle her to the ground. And instead of saying words, because Xuejiang's not a person of words, they're a god of action. They know things. They are just like his teacher. And he leans forward, and there's just a look, a boyish look of a student trying to reach a deep aspect hidden behind Xuejiang, a hidden maybe that Ta has denied themselves. And as he like leans downward, he just says, "This path that you are on, this destruction, is it worth it to lose everything? Is that all you are? It's not. She was born out of your hammer, your spark, your anvil. Right? Right?
I'm gonna need you to roll 2d6 as you collide with her. Add as many tags as you want, and that fit the situation.
Fantastic. That's gone. I will use precise counterattack, seeing omens, can't be surprised, weave omens, powerful against gods. The rest aren't great. Protector of the chosen ones, guardian shrine beast, and ironclad coat.
Okay, that's 8 so far. I'm going to invoke weak to gods. To 7. I'm going to invoke bleeding 3 to knock that down to a 4. And I'm also going to invoke battered 2 to knock that down to a 2. So roll 2d6 plus 2.
And I'll take my +2 forward for this.
Oh, Jesus. I keep forgetting you have that. Okay, that's a +4
Yep.
total. Okay.
And thank Jesus I did that, because that was a 5 on the die.
Okay, that bumps that up
that's
to
a
a
9.
9. Okay, so on a 7 to 9, they reveal something secret, intimate, or dangerous in return. Yeah, you clash against her. She holds the polearm up, staff side forward, and you slam against the heft of it. She doesn't move, but you aren't punched back either. It's like two unstoppable forces colliding in the center of this roof. And there's even like an impact shock from where the two of you meet, radiating outward.
I seen it.
Stop it!
Don't deny it in
Stop.
yourself.
No,
I saw the
no.
truth. Look at me. Look at me. Don't turn away from the truth. You know it.
I am not your
I see it.
mirror! Whatever redemption, whatever absolution you seek to find, you will not find it in me! How dare you speak my apprentice's name, invoke her presence! In my presence, you know nothing! You No. Nothing.
And yet there's something broken in her face, like a shattered gourd. You've touched upon something, a reflex, and she has to kick, has to bite.
Do I not? Forge Master. And he says that in a word of an Omen speaker and the voice of the Son of Doom.
You. No.
And in that moment, she sees that you have seen it. Her downfall. You can't hide it in your gaze. They are too piercing. Because it's not just your eyes that are flaring now. It's Doom's eyes, which are yours eyes, which are also not quite your eyes. And she doesn't like being seen. Doesn't like being known. She pivots her body, her strength, and she throws you, kind of like casts you away from her. You turn and you stumble, you stagger. And now you're on the same side of the roof as Xiaocheng. And as she throws you off, Xuejiang says, "Gah!"
Looking at me like that, like you know me, like you know the gods. Cast your gaze elsewhere, boy in search of mirror.
And Xiaocheng calls up to you, "Gah! Seir, are you okay?" Still like holding onto their mangled face. And you see Xiaocheng's downfall flickering on your periphery as well, now that you're close to them, a bright orange thing, and it draws your eye. Seir, you cannot help but look. Xuejiang has done this to you on purpose, to throw you off her scent, to make you look at something other than her. And Xiaocheng's downfall is too great for you to ignore. It surges around them, and it looks like the Emperor? No, not quite. The gods of the city of heaven? No, not quite that as well. It is an oscillating, constantly moving series of peaks that evoke the city, series of swords pointing down at the back of their necks, series of plates? And they keep shifting, keep moving, but they all point toward the same thing. Self-sacrifice. That they would give themselves up, piece by piece as they did courtier, or all at once, imposed in front of a deadly blow to save their loved ones. And you've seen that downfall before, Seir. And you see a flash of it, pink eyes, and a lance of something go through it. And Xuejiang charges forward toward Lumièra and Xainan on the other side of the roof. Which of the two of you acts first?
I think it's finally Xainan.
Okay.
Xainan, who was braced for the impact with the axe and had fully put his hands like over his head, trying to just wince away from it as the liminals ballooned out around them. And as he pulled his hands away, there was a drop of molten metal, and then another and another. And as he starts to kind of look to see what's going on, a little distracted from all the things going on, a little overwhelmed by the liminal as well, he can't help but pull, and in his hands, he just keeps on finding where he did find a cherry blossom, a bloom of cherry blossoms. Now, it is something new, it is something different. It is molten, raw creation. And I would like to use my new mythos theme from destroying my beloved bow. Embers of creation. And Xainan pulls and pulls and pulls, and finally he gets it. Something burns bright like a spark behind his new lit eye. And he pulls, and this time it has more structure. And a almost waterfall of molten metal in his hand, he holds it out, and it begins to grow and shape a bow. Another hand pulls from where a quiver would be behind his ear, and he pulls an arrow, and as he does, molten metal just begins to drip. And Connie, not to hurt this time, to stop, to pinta against this liminal, to feed it her energy to make her stop moving. He would like to pin the Forge Master to the wall with a shot of molten creation.
Oh, against like the walls of the liminal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's channel your power. So roll 2d6 plus tags.
Okay, here we go. Sentinel against the ending.
Yep.
Love is what tethers us.
Okay.
A student of those before.
Mm-hmm.
The mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Unspoken eulogies.
Mm-hmm.
All the promises he never got to make, to saying that he keeps on seeing in the words that she is not using. And molten smithing, an inspired shot.
That's 7. So I'm going to invoke Broken 4, that bumps it down to a +3, and Bleeding 2, that bumps it down to a +1.
Cool. Oh god, I need my dice to be better.
Come on, Xainan's dice. Except not really, I love it when you miss.
Well, I make it because it's a 7. Total.
Well, it was a 6, so it goes up to a 7. Yup. So you know what you gotta choose between the effect being limited or volatile.
Listen, Connie. Someday someone will choose limited for you, but it's not right now.
Just stop asking at this point. Just stop asking at this point. We're
Okay.
always gonna say volatile. We're always gonna say volatile.
You knew this when you casted us.
That's
That
true.
part, that
Oh my god, that
part.
is true. Okay, Xainan, what does it look like?
As he draws this arrow, and he's never fired a bow made of molten creation before, the arrow doesn't make a sound as it impacts the side of the bow, and he draws it, and as he does, it continues to just drip molten metal, hot orange, glowing, bright yellow, white hot, and he draws it tight and looses it in one fluid motion. And as it goes, usually an arrow does a slight spiral in the air. This one travels straight. No motion, nothing. But as it does, instead of impacting like a single shot, it branches out almost like there's a double mirrored image of it, but they all source back to the fletchings that are barely there. They're like smoke. And it turns into 3 barbs that would seek to pin, and pin Ta against the wall.
Yeah. The 3 barbs pin against her left shoulder, her right shoulder, and then straight through the chest, and pin her against the unseen wall of the liminal. And we see like a ripple of clockwork gears go out from that unseen impact as she looks down at her left shoulder, which is now bleeding white, looks down at her right shoulder, also bleeding white, and a bloom of white coming down from the center of her chest. As she kind of tugs her arms against it, still holding that pole arm in front of her, and is unable to like pull herself off from where she's been stabbed through. You, all of you. And here's the volatile part, because you do succeed in this moment in pinning just her against the liminal. But to your horror, she starts walking forward, disimpaling herself out from the arrows, taking even more damage in the process. But her rage is so bright, so incandescent. She is the Forge Master. She works with materials and energy hotter than the surface of any known sun. And she all the way out from where those arrows are, and in the holes on her body, we see sparking embers of pure creation. The same embers that you now wield, that she has smashed into your soul with the hammer of creation.
You can keep fighting all you want. I'm not here to kill you.
Stop fucking lying to yourself! Can't you see? I'm trying to make all of you honest, and even to the bitter fucking end you refuse. Why?
You never been mortal. There's only one truth for me.
Quick
We
above the
all
table, she
know.
has been mortal in the past.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, in case you just want to like take that light again.
Yeah.
With like a different, yeah.
You're not mortal anymore. Maybe you've forgotten. There's only one truth. Everything else, that's just your perspective.
And what is that truth, sharpshooter?
We are all under the will of fate.
Maybe the fate that you serve and the fate I serve are not the same.
And she moves forward. All of her focus is on you. That's how I'm going to adjudicate this volatile. She's completely focused on you. She lifts her massive halberd of creation and destruction and brings it down on you faster and stronger and heavier than you've ever known. Xainan, I need you to take wounded 10.
Excuse me?
No.
Above table, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Hey!
What the
Okay.
fuck?
So, Connie, I'm obviously going to resist this.
Okay, you are? Okay, good.
Damn,
think-
and I ain't got no help points. Fuck!
I have one. I will use it.
You know what?
'Cause your dice
For
have
sake
been
of
real mean.
simplicity, let's say you can spend help points 1-to-1 to help reduce. Help reduce the tier by 1 if you describe
Take by-
Thank you.
Yeah, the way that Seir helps is he sees that lance in the corner of his eye, piercing Xuejiang, and perfectly in synchronicity, he sees Xainan, he sees this bulwark charging towards him. Not now, not again. I chose this to protect them. And Seir, who's still in his mind's eye himself, the young man standing next to this deer-headed man, I can't let him die. And as he surges forward and he returns back to the present moment, a tiger man, essentially, launches himself towards Xuejiang and just like wants to clip ankles or clip the thigh just to
Yeah, like
slow
knock her
down.
off balance, right? So the blow isn't like literally fatal twice over. Okay. Yeah, so your help will help reduce that by however many points you want to spend and have.
I only have 1 point, so it's just one. I think it comes up as like him clipping the ankle and says, "Don't touch him."
Oh,
Yeah,
and
and
I do!
the slash
I
goes
was
down.
looking at Seir's. I have 2 help points. I'm also gonna help. Are you kidding me?
Okay. How do you assist?
Lumièra, I think when she sees the Forge Master getting ready to bring up this hammer or whatever to cleave into Xainan again, I think Lumièra just digs deep down inside, and what happens is like 2 little, they're not gears, but they're like 2 little mechanical hands that reach out of the side of the liminal and grab hold of the axe that is happening
yeah,
to kind
the
of
liminal itself.
Yeah, the liminal
Yeah,
to kind
okay.
of hold them back into it. And I will spend my last 2 help points for
Okay.
Xainan to.
So that will knock it down to a wounded 7. So yeah, these 2
The thing-
clockier like arms, limbs, tendrils come out and hold Xuejiang back, slowing her down, but it still comes down.
The funny thing is, I already have wounded 2, so technically I had to take it down from a 12.
That's okay.
So
Yep.
I'm gonna just burn a bunch of tags.
Okay.
I am going to burn my last 2 because I unburnt. I recovered one of them, but I'm going to burn my last 2 tags in my original mythos.
Okay.
Untethered Existence and Unspoken Eulogies as Xainan tries to ghost through this one more time.
That'll give you wounded
but in
7
the-
total. Yep.
Yes, and then in the process of that also, I think he is going to, a part of him is going to crack away, and it isn't that it's gone, it's that it's being used for what it's for, his heart and his love of Sing, the mentor. I'm going
okay.
to lose that tag and
Wounded 6.
Sentinel against the ending, bringing
Wounded
it down
5.
to wounded 5.
Okay, that's enough for you to survive. But you technically can't take any actions
Yep.
related to being wounded, right? Which we're being kind of willy-nilly about for fun reasons.
Does
So
our
okay,
help not reduce that down even more?
That is
That
with-
is
that
it
is with the
reduced.
help. Yeah, you Sam's
This
face.
could have been worse. We took it from
Yeah,
a
this could have been
12
a
to a
lot worse.
5.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
I
all
forgot it
combined.
was a 12, Connie. What
Yeah.
the fuck is your problem?
My problem is that I'm gay and
You're
full
right.
of evil. So,
Yeah.
wounded 5. All right, that's the total
Clearly!
of your wounded now. Yeah.
Correct.
Boosh. The halberd comes down. Where does it hit you?
I think as it comes down, Xainan is going to like try and use some of this like new molten creation, and it creates just like a brief, like a smear of created reality for a moment of molten metal. But I think that actually ends up backfiring on him and clobbering against him. And so not only does he take the impact like fully on his shoulder, his left shoulder, but also it smears molten metal across him.
Yeah, there's like a hissing noise, like fire burning against your skin, and like the sharp edge of this halberd coming down, your own blood spurting out, mixing with the lava. I think you were forced to take a knee from the impact of it against the tiles, which scatter even more onto the floor of the courtyard. As this happens, a heartbeat after the power of the impact from the halberd, there's a noise in the distance. And even though all of you have been trapped in a perfect liminal by Lumièra that slows down everything around you, or rather, you all inside of it are moving really quickly, what happens outside of it moves almost faster than even your eyes inside this acceleration can track. You all see from your positions on the roof the roof of the Hall of Peerless Destinies, multiple city blocks away, exploding open. And exploding out through the roof, moving as fast as a shooting star, rather two shooting stars entangled with each other, are an amethyst dragon coiled around a silver Telian. From this distance, they look like stars perforated through the void of the night sky. And then you see them arc through the air and smash into a different part of the city, and then explode out of that part of the city and smash into yet another part of the city. The Doomed Sisters fight has exploded out of the throne room of the City of Heaven and is now wreaking havoc across all of heaven itself. Xuejiang rips the halberd out of your shoulder / your neck. Look at that! Look at that! And she points her halberd up to where the Emperor of the city and the Queen of the Dead are fighting. This piece of the City of Heaven, this so-called piece is false. It has only ever been false. It is an unfinished sword that's been hanging over our heads, all of our heads, ever since the day the Devourer of the Devouring so-called ended it. Then one day, that final piece of that sword will slide into place, and that sword will drop, and everyone is just pretending to get along.
You assume that it's inevitable that every sword needs to be finished, that every sword is made to come down. What if making it is the best part?
If we were just meant to be here and to make things, then why? Why was I born with this hunger inside of me? Why were all of us born with this capacity for hurting other people inside of us? If all we were ever supposed to do was live in harmony, then why are we allowed to feel pain at all? What is the point?
It makes all these painful but beautiful weapons. It gives them their beauty, doesn't it? You're the Forge Master. You have seen and made more beautiful weapons than my eyes will ever see.
Then let this be the last.
And she lifts this halberd, this executioner's halberd, and starts to swing it back. Lumièra, you're the only one who hasn't acted yet. What do you do? Yes, of course. Let's cut to break for a tech thing. Be back soon. Oh, what? Oh, go catch her. Oh, okay, cool. I thought it was like immediate. All right, cool. So we'll be right back as Xuejiang is holding the axe up over her shoulder. I'll be back in however long it needs to be. We'll be back really soon. Tech break. Xuejiang arches the halberd up over her shoulder and braces it to swing it down one final fatal time upon Xainan Esh. But then Xiaocheng's voice rings across the courtyard. They step forward, Zifeng outstretched, pointed at the back of Xuejiang's head. And the fur on the nape of her neck bristles as she feels Zifeng against her own neck. And Xiaocheng says, "Wait! Forge Master, you don't understand. I'm just like you. I was scared, too. Because what you're saying, all I'm hearing is the truth underneath your words, is the fear of it. I was scared of being a burden, of being wrong, of doing wrong so much that I let it control me. I let it take over me. I couldn't accept that I could be capable of hurting other people, and that made me unable to accept any other truth about this world. Because you're not wrong about many things, Forge Master. We all do have hunger. We all do have power. We all do have the capacity to hurt other people." And at that, Xiaocheng touches their eye that's been taken out, which has been welded shut, bleeding orange. And they lower their hand, look back up at Xuejiang. "But we also have a choice. It's not dishonest to choose peace, to choose the game. What's dishonest here is thinking that everyone else wants to hurt other people. That's all we're capable of. All you've talked about is being honest, is following your base instincts, is your hunger, but have you even been honest with yourself this whole time? Answer me, Forge Master! Do you actually want to hurt other people, or do you just think you have no other choice?"
You.
And in this moment, Xuejiang hesitates. And in this moment, all of you have a chance to step in, say something, anything. Who speaks first?
Xainan has already been in this back and forth now for what seems like forever, but it's only been, the last couple hours at most. And he, delirious, bleeding from way too many places, pushes himself to his feet with the opportunity that Xiaocheng got for him. You see, just because you're scared, acting out like this, you're the one that looks like prey, not the predator. Prey bites when it's cornered.
I remember what it feels like to be prey. You do too, Courtier. Devouring it. We like to pretend that it's gone. That the scars that it's left are inconsequential to the future that we might build. But who am I without my scars?
You don't
I was
ever have to
made.
leave them. Look at me. I'm more scar than man. I'm still just me.
So what keeps you going? Huh? What keeps all of you going? If not this pain.
Xainan slides a glance to the frozen flower petals just outside of the liminal and follows them to Seir, to Lumièra, and just past Lumièra, Naeem on the next roof. I have people that make me want to walk forward. Because I'm not the scars. Scars are just the memories of who I am. You don't have to be all that violence.
Seir, with his head hung low, he tried to tackle this god and his blade onto the ground, this tiger, this shrine beast. And as he lifts his face from the stone tiles beneath him, he just mutters to himself, "This crown is so heavy. This name is so heavy. I know your hunger," he says louder. I fought it my whole way in this world. But who will you consume, Forge Master? Where will you stop? Will you eat her too? Will you deny yourself that love that I know sits in there?
I didn't.
What will it take?
I didn't expect to make her. She just came out of me. Exploded from me, unbidden, untethered, whole. Herself, her own person, but bonded to me. So she must, if she is of me, then she must have that hunger within Tai as well. Have that thirst for violence, be defined by it.
And that is your endgame? Produce something else that holds the same thing that torments you. That is what you want to reproduce? That is what you want to pass on to future generations? Not the urge to want, to hope, to strive for better. And Lumièra twists her hands and cranks up the gear itself. I would love to tempt fate if I could.
What perilous feat are you trying to accomplish?
I want the Forge Master to hear me and not just listen to me, but to hear the words that I'm saying to resonate. I would like to use my new mythos that I got. It is called Time Sworn. Is my new mythos.
The Oath with the Drifter. Yes. So roll plus the number of mythos themes you have. I think you have 2. Is that true? 3 now. No, you have 3. Okay. Yeah, because of that new mythos. Right. So that's a +3.
What's it like to be so powerful?
I know.
All right. That'll be a 13. And I
Oh my
think
God.
with that 13, Lumièra steps up and she twists her hand again to lock those gears even more on point. You wield unimaginable power. What you give to the gods, to the people that serve you, is enumerated. You don't get to look in the face of those that look up to you and spit at them in their open mouths as they beg you for knowledge, for safety, for strength. It is your duty as a deity, as someone who's... And she holds herself back just for a moment. when you step to the ranks as a god and you accept that as your journey, there are other pieces that are important to whether or not you succeed. Other factions that are important to whether or not you are not only believed in, but your thought, your beliefs stay true and hold true throughout the test of time. You don't get to spit in the face of those that bow to your feet and ask you for help, while you butcher everything and those around you. Devour those that were just trying to help.
And Xuejiang looks at Xiaocheng, the broken face, the mangled face of it. Looks out over at the city of heaven, with the silver Xainan and the amethyst dragon trapped in a mortal struggle against each other. And her eyes are present. They are perfectly present, Lumièra, because of that bond, that clockwork gear that you're using to fix Xuejiang in place, make her completely present, attentive. But you're a time mage. You know that to be truly present, you have to completely understand the past, because that's the key to knowing what the future will look like. And Xuejiang says,
I begged the gods for mercy. As a mortal in the devouring, I begged them for help. To spare my family. To spare me. But all they could do was eat each other. All they could do was claw for power, so I knew that the only route I had toward choice was to become a god myself. So I built my diamond forge, and I climbed inside of it, and I refined my soul until it was nothing but diamond. Purified, hardened by the flames of trial. And I made weapons. I did not tithe anymore. I became the entity that was tithed to. And as the devouring raged on, I saw the suffering that my brethren wreaked across the cradle, wreaked across the realms before they were shattered, before the Emperor broke the world to save it. And I could not fathom why peace did not come sooner. For if we wanted it, if it was in our grasp all along, why could the gods not choose it? Why did the gods around me always have to choose violence and hunger?
The gods
Why?
are fickle. Lumièra says, and when she says it, it is almost with a taste of, like she was swallowing something sour at the same time, as if some of what the Forge Master is saying is resonating a bit too deep for her to even want to or is ready to acknowledge. They are fickle. They think they know what is best. They think they know what is safe. But they don't have faith in the parishioners they create. They don't believe that with their teachings, some of them don't believe that with their teachings they can influence, change, make things different.
You know loss. I see it in your face.
I know nothing but loss. Everything that I touch leaves me. So
And yet you still stand here. You still bind me with your Time Walker's oath.
and yet I
You
still
fight
stand.
me.
I still fight because I know what is true in my gut and what is true to myself. While the gods may lack, we, those who believe, make the blessings happen. And she says that with her eyes locked directly on the Forge Master, unwavering, unshaking, committed, and convinced.
Well, I am not a chronologist, so I cannot change what has already happened.
You don't have to be. Be better.
Wear your damn scars.
As a
Love them.
badge of honor.
You have eternity. An eternity to change your path. What you
Nothing.
forged yourself in Diamond Furnace, surely you're more than diamond.
Nothing but time.
I have lost my way. I thought that if I could show the world that violence is all we are, is all we're good for, then it would make everything I've suffered mean something. That my family, everyone I loved,
Then
who are
love them.
gone now.
Look
That
at
their
me.
deaths, that it would have meant something.
Forge
That it would have
Master.
been right, it would have been fated.
Forge Master, if I may. Ghosts are there for us to love. Just like the scars. Proof that you are loved. So be loved. And show that beautiful God that you made that things can be different than your choices. Than the world that you survived. That you survived. And Xainan looks at his shadow self, standing in front of him in the shape of a Forge Master, willing with two mismatched eyes that she believe as much as he believes that the only way forward is to believe again.
I was wrong about Luwa. There has never been hunger in that soul. There has only ever been hope, but I've been unable to see it. Because how could something made of me still have hope?
And the Forge Master lowers the halberd, drops the butt of it against the tiled roof, and all the fight goes out of her. She slumps against the plum leaf courtyard. And Lumièra, you feel your hold on the liminal finally end, as this part of the fight, your magic knows it's over. The liminal comes down, wavers away, the clock gears vanish in soapy cascades of pure gold. And the world around all of you starts moving in tandem with the world within this liminal, back into reality.
Lumièra will hold her hand out to the Forge Master for the halberd.
It's heavy.
Is all she says as she holds out the halberd toward you.
I think when Lumièra grabs it, she was like, it's all right. And then it actually drops the weight in her hand and she's like, oh, shit. But kind of scoots it back and holds it to her person before taking a quick periphery glance at Xainan and Seir.
Xainan staggers backward and kind of looks for the first thing to lean on.
And as soon as you look for someone to lean on, Seir is there. This four-legged tiger leans his shoulder up to your weakened arm and holds you up.
You got big.
Do you still have the antlers?
Oh yeah, he's a tiger with antlers.
Lumièra scratches between the antlers.
Xainan, as the dust literally settles over the fight, the ghosts that have been surrounding you, swirling around you, protecting you, empowering you, they also sense this fight end, and the ghosts start to recede. And as they recede, you feel them pulling at you. Ija's hand against yours, Sorna's, Doxa's, Sing's. Not violently, not even insistently, but just lovingly, guiding you, trying to guide you back home, to the ghost realm, to the spirit realm, because the cost of you holding back from early, because the cost of you stopping holding back. How do I even put the phrase of that? Right, none of it sounds elegant. Let me try that again. Because the cost of your move to stop holding back from earlier was that you become more ghost than man, and the ghosts here can sense it. You're one of them, and you hear all of their voices in your ears. Come, Xainan. Come. Let's go home. Home. And Seir, you feel the man leaning against your fur begin to recede. Xainan, this is the choice you must make. Do you follow the ghosts home? Or do you stay with Strike Team Nova?
Xainan can still feel every word that he said and that the Forge Master said pounding in his head. It's either the hammer blow or that maybe the Forge Master cut deeper than just the wounds. Ghosts are there for you to love. And all the ways that he wanted to go with them in the trial, all the times that he sat at Trans alone wishing that he were at home. He can feel them pulling. But just as the liminal was diffusing, he also saw Lumièra, who still needs someone with her to make sure she doesn't turn into the terrifying god that Xainan saw for the first time. And Seir, the twin that he ignored, that he knows he could do better with. He sees the face of the boy in the forge, telling him, pleading with him with his eyes to be better. And he remembers at the heart of what he said, that faith in what he's doing in his purpose is worth it. And again, for the second time tonight, he trusts in the will of fate that he has been brought back for a reason as an agent of Trans. Even though he can feel his heart going home.
It sounds like to me, Xainan, that you're making a hard choice.
Yeah?
So that's a mechanic in City of Mist, which I'm paraphrasing this, but essentially for your mythos theme, which is what's tying you to your ghostly nature, when the answers to your theme's question are within reach, but you forego them, you mark fade. So what is that question at the heart of your mythos theme?
Am I alive or am I dead?
And in this choice you forego the answer, though going with the ghosts will solidly answer it. And I think because this choice is so big, I'm going to have you mark all 3 fade at once.
Yeah.
Okay. Seir, you feel that presence which had started to fade against you, then become solid again against your fur. And the last of the ghostly spirits vanish from your ear. The last word you hear from any of them is home, and the mist takes them.
And in his heart, he wishes that he could turn to dust again. But that was before. That isn't who he is anymore.
You feel the fur beneath your fingers dissipate. The entire time Seir was looking to you with bright blue eyes, the eyes of a tiger recede that to a boy who still needs your guidance. And he stands up to his full height of a young man and takes his shoulder beneath yours to hold you up. And you feel more real to him, and his heart is relieved.
Cultivators! In a plume of magic, appearing on the roof across from the courtyard from all of you are the 4 symbols. It was Drooling who had cried out, exploding into existence in a flurry of pure flame. And as soon as Lu Hua appears in a pillar of incandescent white magic, they lift their eyes up and they see their mentor. They see the Forge Master. Drooling starts forward with rage and fury and violence in her step, but Lu Hua throws out a hand, looks at Drooling with a confident, insistent expression, and then jumps across the courtyard in a single bound and lands next to Xuejiang. And without any other words, without any other preamble, with only an expression of betrayal and shock and fury, but also sorrow on Lu Hua's face, the apprentice runs forward toward her mentor. And for a second, we don't know if Lu Hua is going to attack Xuejiang or talk to her. But in that moment, right before they meet, Lu Hua opens up Tada arms and embraces the Forge Master in a crushing hug. The Forge Master just kind of takes the hug and then looks deeply, deeply, deeply guilty and ashamed. And Lu Hua pulls away, and before she can speak, before she can say anything, as one battle has come to its fated end, so too does another. The clash between the doomed sisters terminates at the peak of Plum Leaf Bridge. The silver Telian gores the amethyst dragon through the chest with a gleaming antler, driving her twin down, down, down through the sky and poof, into the bridge. The earth shakes around all of you as though the ground itself were giving way to such immaculate violence. Tsigu pulls back her antler, dripping in an arc, a cascade of red blood, mortal blood, and bears a set of vicious fangs. A roar erupts through Plum Leaf Courtyard. But the immortal emperor is not yet slain. She raises her razor-sharp claws and bellows in return, the purple mane over her chest stained with her own crimson blood. But just as Tsigu rears back to deal the final blow, the finishing blow, the mist thickens around her, and she can no longer fend off its call. For the Lord of Death has been fighting not just her sister this entire time, but the current of the Shattered River itself. As the arms of the mist wrap themselves around Tsigu's silvery form, the Telian aspect peels away like moonlit petals on the wind, and her face, her demonic, once mortal, now howling face peers through. No,
No! Long Xie Feng! I will raise a litany of hatred against you so wicked and vile that the shattered river itself shall weep blood the day oblivion takes you! And then the river thickens. There is a swell of magic, and Sigu is gone. Longdu rises against the crumbled stones of the bridge, and as she does, she's no longer a dragon, but a god, a woman, an emperor, her robes stained red with her own strangely mortal blood, but alive. Alive. Longdu turns her head to the side, sees your group, sees her symbols, her virtue, the Forge Master, and something sets in Ta the expression. Ta approaches Plum Leaf Courtyard walking on air, and there is a noise like gemstones whispering against steel. And as the Emperor comes to a halt on the roof tiles in front of Xuejiang as Lu Hua breaks away from her, we see that Longdu has unsheathed the corrupted diamond blade, which she has now tamed. For just like Seir, the Emperor has accepted her doom. She accepted it 4,000 years ago when she sank a sacred sword into her sister's chest. And Longdu looks down at Xuejiang, who bows her head, whose divine white blood still flows from the wounds across her body, those puncture marks from Xainan and those scratches and gashes from Seir. And the Grand Adjudicator says, "Do you hear it, Xuejiang?" I do. It is faint, but I do. The call of the river. The call of oblivion.
Do you heed it, Xuejiang? And Xuejiang does not respond. Longdu regards them with a long, hard look. None of you have ever seen her so thunderous, so sorrowful. And Longdu lifts the blade. To her credit, Xuejiang doesn't flinch, because violence is all she's ever known. Violence is all she's ever given herself permission to know. And Longdu says, "This blade you awakened, whispered its name to me when it sank its teeth into my mind and severed my soul from my body. Malice. That is what it called itself. That is what it called your heart. Malice was forged in its own name, and now you will forge it again." And in a single thrust, Longdu sinks Malice from point to hilt into the Forge Master's heart. Not to kill her, but to change her. And as Malice comes through the other side, Xuejiang's godly blood coats the diamond edge, and as Longdu pulls the sacred blade out, the blood's color is different. It's crimson. And the wound on Xuejiang's chest seals, but the other wounds on her body remain not bleeding white, but red. And Longdu says, "Malice, you are no longer. Now, your name is Absolution. As for you, Gang Xuejiang, former Forge Master of the City of Heaven, I spare you, and I bind you with an unbreakable curse. Thou shalt be mortal once more, and forevermore." And we're going to end the session there. So thank you all so much for tuning in to the penultimate episode of Arc 2 of the Chaos Protocol. I have been your Game Master and Creative Director, Connie Chong. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me across the internet at Byconniechang. That's BYCONNIECHANG. I'm going to pass it over to Val.
Hi everyone, I'm Valiant. This absolutely hurts Dorian. I use him, his pronouns. You can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian or at also Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of playing Seir, the Son of Doom, who uses he, they pronouns. And I'm going to pass it on over to Pop-Pop.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kai. I use he, they, she pronouns. You can find me all over the internet as Estelle of Imladris, or here, probably next week, crying as well. Gosh, wow. Yeah, and I'm gonna just, Sam, I don't know how to use words anymore.
Oh my god. Okay, okay, be normal. All right. Hey, I'm Samstar, using she, they, and the occasional fae pronouns. I've been here playing Lumièra, and Connie, what the fuck is your problem? Pass it on over to the boss.
It's a me, the boss. If you want to find out what the fuck my problem is, you should subscribe to our Patreon. At patreon.com/transplanar RPG. Maybe I'll put out a blog post that says what the fuck my problem is. That's the best way to support us. You can even join us as a free member if you have no money. Yeah. But we'll see about that. So thank you all so much for tuning in. This was amazing. We will be here again for the final episode of Arc 2 next week, Saturday, May 18th at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time, right here on Twitch and YouTube at Transplanar RPG and on TikTok at Byconniechang. Then we're going to be taking a hiatus of quite some time to kind of like get our thoughts together, take a break before Arc 3. Not a super long time, but a little bit of time, like a couple weeks at most. But in the meantime, that's a great time to catch up, binge Arc 2 if you've kind of been behind and whatnot. Tell your friends, tell your parakeet, tell your cat, your dog, whatever.
It'll be close to our 1 year of the Chaos Protocol.
Oh my goodness. It will be, yeah. Yeah, it's coming up on our 1 year of Chaos. Wow, that's amazing to think about. So tell all your friends about Chaos. This is the perfect time for them to catch up and to binge the series and join the Transplanar hype train, become a Transplanar nerd themselves. And yeah, see you in the Discord. We're going to be raiding someone really awesome right now, no doubt. So send them love in chat. Use the raid message in chat if you're on Twitch. If you're not, hop over to the twitch.tv/transplanarrpg to join that raid chat. And yeah, see you in the Discord. See you in Patreon, hopefully. Best way to support us. And Shpisho, Bijo.